All I want for Christmas is the Bengals to make the playoffs. You could ask Santa for a ticket to one of our trainings coming up in January and February. In January, we'll be at Cork and Steel in the Florence, Kentucky area for a one-day permanent load reduction training through the eyes of Conduit Tech. This is happening on January 28th, 2026, and it will teach you load calculation methodology, how to look for home performance opportunities while doing a load calculation, and how to do a 15 to 20 minute load calculation using the Conduit Tech software. Coming up February 18th, 2026 at the Cork and Steel Training Center, we have a one-day certified MeasureQuick user training that incorporates true flow grid airflow training as well. You'll receive a certificate as a certified user of MeasureQuick and a true flow grid airflow training user certificate as well. Today's guest is someone who's a little outside the HVAC world, but trust me, you're going to want to hear this one. Adam Koehler is probably the most successful entrepreneur I know personally. He's one of the guys behind Dotloop, which changed how real estate contracts are handled online and eventually sold to Zillow for upwards of $100 million. He's now building another groundbreaking company called Content Credits. And today he'll tell us all about how blockchain-powered platforms are changing the game. We're going to dig into Adam's story, his views on blockchain, what it can mean for trades and logistics, and how ADHD might be a secret weapon in business. And because Adam never does anything halfway, we'll also talk about the importance of community, why local marketing still matters, and how small business owners can make a real impact where they live. Let's get into it. This is my buddy, Adam Koehler. We've known each other since we were like 12 or 13 years old. Yeah, I think that's right. Is that right, Adam?
It probably is. 13,
something like that. I mean, down on Hillside. We grew up together, city kids. We were in a lot of city kid stuff, and but we're here today to talk about it. So I wanted to bring Adam. Adam's probably the most successful entrepreneur that I know in my particular circle. So even though he's not directly in the HVAC industry, he has a really, really cool story to tell. And I want him to tell his story and then talk about bunch of different stuff. So Adam, just tell us your journey and where you started and where you're at now.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people grew up with in Cincinnati on the west side, grew up without a lot, went to school in Over the Rhine, which is currently on the news for some public attacks that unfortunately happened at 3 a.m. But we were no stranger to that kind of violence where we were growing up, Jeremy. And yeah, man, it was tough. And just like you, I just kind of got sick of being poor. I didn't have my dad around, and, four of us living in a little one-bedroom apartment. And at some point, you just got to decide, do I want to get caught up in all this nonsense, or do I want to do something with my life? So I left, went to college in Pittsburgh. They didn't like me there. I see you're wearing your Bengals jersey. Well, I had a big
That's for you, buddy.
Yeah, I had a big old Bengals helmet on the back of my car when I was living in Pittsburgh, and a red sticker, and it got broke into twice. They didn't like that. But yeah, that was a wild place to go if you were a Bengals fan. But went to art school there for computer animation and multimedia. Came back here. There wasn't no computer animation jobs in Cincinnati, so I ended up at Kinko's downtown working second shift, which is now FedEx for the people who don't remember what Kinko's was. But man, just worked one job to the next job, and then finally realized I didn't want to work for corporate. I wanted to be my own boss. Met some other guys. We started a company called Dotloop, which if you're an HVAC people, there's overlap with real estate and HVAC, obviously. So, we started a company. We essentially got rid of the fax machine in the real estate industry. So all those negotiations you would fax back and forth between realtors, well, you didn't have to do that anymore with us. Everything was digital. We just digitized all the contracts. And about 90% of all the real estate agents in the country, I think at this point, use, or at least signed up to use the software. But we sold it to Zillow back in 2015, and about $2 trillion had passed through our platform before we sold that. One of my co-founders, the guy who came up with the idea and ran a company and all that, he's now off doing another thing called Picasso. That's worth over $1 billion at this point. I'm doing something else called content credits right now. Our buddy Matt's doing some stuff. He lives up in Michigan now. But yeah, man, I mean, it created additional entrepreneurs, right? So, some guys that used to work for us just raised $2 million for their startup recently. Another real estate, startup, another real estate play. So, I mean, the cool thing about it is like, you see the multiplying effects of your efforts, right? It's not just about the company you build and what you do, and the money you make off of it. It's watching other people grow. I mean, look at cities like, Seattle, San Francisco. We were just in the Bay Area last week. Like the effects that had, like Apple Computer, Hewlett Packard, those kind of companies that started out in the industry, just turned that state into one of the largest economies in the world. And that's the kind of stuff that happens when entrepreneurship takes effect and you have successful people and other people that worked for you that were hungry that turn into entrepreneurs themselves. So that's what I'm all about. I'm sitting in my co-working space right now about an old Knights of Columbus building in Covington, Kentucky. I just got my ridiculously expensive estimate for doing the upstairs last week. So we're working on getting some financing for that. But yeah, we got a commercial kitchen in here with a lady who rents from us. She's a caterer. She owns a catering company. She does a co-working kitchen downstairs, about 5,000 square feet. This floor here is all businesses, and then the upstairs is going to be an event center, which is going to help her business downstairs grow, because every caterer needs an event space, and that's also going to help us too. But multiple other things. Got my hands in a lot of stuff.
Another guy from our network, Dave Horton, who will be a guest here. He has an office there in your space. So it's a small world.
He's walking out of the kitchen. Yeah. Across from me.
So he'll be on at some point in time too, for sure. He's another guy that I grew up with. And, another Clifton guy for sure. Oof. Clifton Heights, baby. Yeah. So tell everybody what content credits is. So first I'll preface this by saying I may have been in the room when the idea was born. I'm not sure, but I did hear about it a lot earlier than Adam ever put it into fruition. Him and I were working on a separate blockchain project, and this actually started out. We were like, hey, content credits is the way to go, but it morphed into something else. But Adam kept the idea alive, and he's made it into a whole thing. So I'll let him tell you about it.
Yeah, so it was actually about 15 years ago I came up with the idea. I was browsing around and we were buying photos for like P&G or somebody for their newsletter. And back in the day, if you were a graphic designer and you wanted to put a particular photo in like a big company's newsletter or on their website or something, the company had to buy the rights to use the photo. So it'd be like $5,000 in order to use it for a set amount of time, right? And then iStock Photo came around and they were like, wait a minute, why don't we just sell that photo for $1 to 10,000 people? And then we started buying, iStock photos for our projects and everything for $1, $5. It started out $1, right? And it went up over time. But I was like, why couldn't you do that for content? So then we did Dotloop, and, one thing led to the other. That idea kind of went away. And then, we were talking about doing something in blockchain. I was like, man, this content credits thing would be perfect for crypto.
Yep.
Right. Yep. And this isn't necessarily a crypto play now. But there is some potential blockchain on the back end accounting, which blockchain totally makes sense for accounting. Right. But yeah, the idea is are you sick of paying or of hitting those paywalls? 99% of people that hit those paywalls bounce. So when I get to an article, Jeremy sends me an article about something great he did in the HVAC industry, and it's on the local business courier. It's on the local paper in Knoxville. I don't have an account to that newspaper in Knoxville. Never will, because I don't live in Knoxville. So it's behind a paywall. I can't read it. So why not just pay a quarter and get past that paywall? So the idea is people pay us $10. They get 40 credits. So they're pegged at a quarter, right? They get 40 credits. After a while, you don't even think about how much you paid for them. You just know you got credits. I hit a paywall. I want to read it. That's the point of FOMO, right? That's the point where I'm like, I want to read this, but this paper is frustrating me. Oh, I've got credits. They click a button on that paywall, gets them past the paywall. They can read the article for a quarter. So that's generally the idea. And it's good for the publisher too, because they get paid off of ads. And if those ads are hiding behind a paywall, nobody's ever going to see them.
That's a great point. Yeah.
And you got Google zero click search now. So when you do a search in Google, they give you a rundown of what you're looking for. So you never click over to see the actual article anymore. So it's killing their ad revenue. I think in 1 month, most of the newspapers, the big newspapers, lost about 30% of their ad revenue just because zero click search.
Does that thing summarize articles that are behind paywalls too, or how does that work?
Yeah. It can get past them. Yep. So what they're doing now is they're trying to do deals with the AIs. So the newspapers like the Washington Post, I think, has like $1 million or $2 million deal a year with OpenAI, because OpenAI is going to just keep scraping their stuff. But the problem is you're going to lose more in ad revenue than that $1 million or $2 million deal you got. I mean, OpenAI is laughing all the way to the bank. So they have to find other streams of revenue. Donations aren't going to get it done. The ad revenue's drying up. And who the hell wants another subscription? People have subscription fatigue. And if I go to my Experian account to check my credit, it's going to say to me, hey, do you want us to look and see what subscriptions we can cancel for you?
That's yeah. And what's the other one? Rocket Money.
Rocket Money does the same thing. There's several of them out there. So there's an entire industry now working against the subscription industry. And it's funny, we were pitching to some VCs up in near Detroit, and they said, this is our fault. Like every time a startup comes in here, we tell them they need a subscription model. They need a subscription model. You need reoccurring revenue. Add some kind of subscription model. So now everything's a subscription. Dude, my car, I have to pay over, $40 a month just to keep the GPS live on my car. And I rent it out on Turo. So I need the GPS, right?
Yeah.
So there's a subscription on top of the $1,000. I pay like $1,060 a month for that car. Add on another $40 now. I'm up to $1,100 to pay for that car because they got me to pay for it. Now they're getting me on the subscription. It's crazy. Everything, man. This watch probably has a subscription I don't even know about. My ring, dude, this ring I got, the Aura ring, is like $5-6 a month to track my sleep and everything. Everything.
And for people like me and you that are extreme ADHD, subscriptions are easy. Like, I got to see this thing right now. And then we subscribe and then we forget we ever even had it. Like, I have so many one-off subscriptions where my wife will be like, why is this thing coming out of our bank? I'm like, oh, it's a subscription I forgot to cancel. Like,
well, they can't even do that anymore. So the FCC just came out with some kind of rule. And I've been doing a lot of, I dig in and I start doing research.
Yeah.
So the FCC just came out with a rule that it has to be as easy to cancel as it was for people to sign up. So if it was a one-click sign up, it has to be a one-click cancel. And they're also working on making it to where you can't auto-subscribe people to a higher amount. So like, say you get signed up for that $1 a week, right? Because they're always trying to get you. The Wall Street Journal, all of them, are like $1 a week. Well, if you sign up for that $1 a week now, they can't just next month change it to $30.
Didn't that just go to the Supreme Court, though?
Yeah,
I think that it got overturned, and now it's in the Supreme Court. They're trying to, it was a law. Somebody sued, and it got overturned or something, and now it's in the Supreme Court, from what I just read. I think so.
And I think the FTC, I think one of those 3-letter agencies has something to do with that, too.
Yeah.
So, it's wild, man. There's a lot working against the industry. And it's just people in general are sick of it, man. A lot of people just don't want to pay for content, period. There's enough free content out there. I'll find it somewhere else.
Yeah.
So
I try to circumnavigate it as much as possible, but I can tell you right now, I would use content credits, like, for sure. There's no doubt about it. Like, I would use. How has the reception with the publishing industries been? Have you guys, like, I know you're out there raising money. How's all that going? Tell us, where you at in the stream of things?
Well, and this isn't even the first time it was tried. There's been other companies. Like, the more I'm in this, and the more people I pitch the idea to and talk to, especially VCs. They're like, oh, so-and-so tried this before. I'm like, who are they? And then I'll look it up and they're out of business, right? I think the problem was the timing wasn't necessarily right. I think they did not put the button on the paywall. So there is another company out there that Google's kind of partnered with right now. What they do is they have a button, but you have to go through Google's ad manager if you're a publisher in order to use their Google's paywall, right? You can watch a video or you can click the button and put it on your tab, right? And then once you get up to $5 on your tab, then they send you a bill. See, we collect the money up front. So if somebody's like thinking about investing, why would they want to invest in the company that's like putting it on your tab? They may never get paid. We get the $10. We sit on that money until somebody uses it, right? And then if you use a quarter, you click past the paywall for one credit, then the publisher gets 20 cents of that. We keep a nickel. So the saying is if I had a nickel for every time somebody did blah, that's like we're making the company for that now.
Yeah. I saw you putting that out there before. Like, I will have a nickel, by the way, if this goes the way I want it to.
If I had a nickel for every time someone clicked on a paywall, well, turns out we might.
This week's episode is brought to you by NoSo. Ready to 10x your technicians? Field service teams are missing out on revenue. NoSo's AI ensures you capture every opportunity and finish every job with zero paperwork. From diagnosing tricky issues on site to automatically writing up job reports, their AI assistant, NoSo, supports your technicians at every step. To learn more about NoSo, click the link in our show notes or head to their website at noso.so. Let's talk about ADHD seriously as a thing. Like, that you and I are a little bit similar this way. Tell everybody how I know you are the ADHD superhero. So tell us how you make ADHD your superpower.
I think in a way you could turn it into being way more productive. And I'm kind of afraid, and a lot of people I think I've heard that have ADHD or whatever, I've heard them say that, right? And when people are like, oh, you have ADHD, do you take whatever it is, Ritalin or something like that for it? And they're like, no, like I'm afraid of what it would do to me, what it would do to my productivity. Because they say you can't multitask, but I did my DNA research and it said I'm actually better at multitasking than most people. And I don't know if that's the ADHD or genetics or what it is, but I got so much going on. Like if I took some Ritalin or something, I don't know what it would do, like would I be as productive? I mean, right now I'm freaking out. Like I'm going to look at my Twitter account to see what people replied to my tweet, It's like I can't sit still. I mean, and you're probably the same way too. It probably drives your wife crazy because my wife is more of an introvert. She is not all over the place, but I'm big into personality too. Like the personality studies, like the Myers-Briggs and DISC assessments, and all those things, the Enneagrams. And my personality type, I'm an ENTP, which is one of the entrepreneurial types. But we're also, we play devil's advocate and we like to argue, and we're, even if we agree with somebody, we're just going to take the opposite position just to make them work for it, right? Work for your opinion. And we learn that way, right? I mean,
that's what I was going to say. That's how I learn. Yeah. Like challenging people is how we learn a little bit. Yeah. And challenging ideas and concepts and everything all the way down the road. That's what makes you dig in farther and farther and farther. Like you said, I like to dig in. Like I know you're an up all night research guy sometimes. I remember when we first got into blockchain, Adam was calling me at 4 a.m, like, man, you got to stay up. This is the best time to sell your stuff because China's dumping right now. And he'd be up, he'd stay up all night long analyzing the ebbs and flows of the blockchain at the time. I think it was Ethereum we were messing with back then.
Remember we were watching charts and I was like, sell it now. Like it's I'm on the phone with you and and then it dumps after that. Like there was a pattern. There was a pattern. The bots were running it, man. They were just automated bots running the buys and sells because there just wasn't enough volume. So they were faking the volume for a long time, I think. And they had just bots buying and selling on the back end. And what we messed up with is we didn't have buy orders in at 10 cents. Remember back in, 2017, 2018? When Ethereum crashed on, there was some big sell order or something that came in and the system couldn't handle it.
Yep.
And then a bunch of people had like buy orders at 10 cents and they had to give it to them. I mean, it dipped on Coinbase.
Yeah, and I was out in the middle of nowhere at that time and didn't even have service. And by the time I got back, it was all over with. I'm like, oh, what the hell's going on?
And your brother got me into this madness. Like I didn't even, I don't even think I would have jumped in on my own because I probably would have done something else. And now I'm looking back, I'm like, man, was it even worth all that stress and the time and like everything else we spent like with, I bought mining equipment and all that other kind of stuff that, ended up only being able to use it for a little while because then it was outdated in a year and electric.
Yeah, I think I think my miner's still sitting down at your shop somewhere.
Probably upstairs with all mine, just sitting up there doing nothing. Yeah, but I bought a big fan. We cut a hole in the wall upstairs so we could suck all that heat out of that room up there. I mean, we were doing all kinds of stuff, and I've ended up buying a bunch of miners down in Kentucky, but I could only run them for like 6 months before they really started like not doing anything, and the electric wasn't even worth it. I spent probably $50,000 on those stupid machines. And I was doing it for a while, man. It was like $400 a day or something it was making for a while there. And then
I made some money, a little bit of money in the beginning when we first bought those things. I made $3,000 or something like that, you know.
Yeah. But then I ended up just putting it into some shit coin and losing it all anyway. So it was like it's the hype was crazy, man, and it was a learning experience. And now I see the next generation kind of going through that same thing where they're chasing all these like garbage coins and stuff, trying to make money, and they don't understand how the pump and dump thing works and the cycle. So it's like, it's crazy. Like, I feel like if I really got back into it, I would be smarter about it and probably make money at it this time.
Outside the financial side of it, do you see a real use case for blockchain? Like, is there stuff being built out there that you're aware of? Like,
man, dude, like in your industry.
Yes. Yeah.
And anything that has to do with housing. Like even today, like the C-prop thing, I mean, it's still out there. Like we could still do it. I don't know what Luke's doing. He's out. He's apparently still working on the company. But I mean, if you think about it, home facts for your house.
Yeah.
Like Carfax, right?
Well, there's guys out. I'm not sure if they're blockchain or not, but there's guys using AI. They have a thing called shovels, which can now, this is similar to what Luther and those guys were trying to do. I'm not sure. It may be C-prop, but the more advanced stages of C-prop that you were talking about, where they're able to actually scrape every building permit in the country and get usable data from the building permit for all the buildings being built right now. Wow. And have a full, like, for contractors that are out there looking for very specific type of data points, you can literally take their API and program in your data points and scrape those data points off the building permits in the country.
Well, we wanted it for everything. If you went to Home Depot and you bought a new dryer for your house, or you bought a new dishwasher or oven or refrigerator, or somebody came out to fix your HVAC, like all that stuff could be on the blockchain. It could all be immutable, right? If everybody was using the same system, and if you had an app and it was tied to your credit card, and every time you use that credit card and say Home Depot or Lowe's, it would ping you and say, "Hey, look, are you using this to put in your house?" And it would know what brand it is, right? Based on the receipt, right? What brand it is, what kind of warranty it has on it, how much you paid for it, when you bought it, like all that stuff could just be on the blockchain. And then if I was to buy the house, I would know, hey, there's 3 years left on this dishwasher. There's 5 years left on this, right? And it would help up the value because now I could compare houses. So I could say, man, this dude's dishwasher is 25 years old versus this guy who bought a dishwasher. It's 3 years old. And you can just go down the list of everything in the house, all the mechanicals, everything. When was the last time this house had its HVAC serviced? 10 years ago.
Or if the performance was verified on the house, or if the performance was verified on the HVAC, all that is house. And the cool thing about blockchain is it's mathematically based, so it talks in numbers to everything. So you can literally, if there's some kind of device or anything it sees a signal, you could connect that into the blockchain and have that stuff autonomously verified without any human interaction whatsoever by whatever standard you set on the blockchain. Yeah.
It just
Let's talk about that. Explain to everybody what a smart contract is. I know you know that like the back of your hand.
So you guys know that Bitcoin came out. And literally, Bitcoin is just a ledger. It's just a ledger of transactions. So Jeremy wants to send me a Bitcoin, which would be great if you did, Jeremy. I remember when they were $400. But he wants to send me a Bitcoin. Well, the computers, right? There's millions and millions of computers out there that mine these transactions. They just check the ledger. They're all running the same ledger. They're all looking at the same ledger in real time. They all check it. They say, hey, it looks like Jeremy's got a Bitcoin to send Adam, and then all the other ones say, yep, we agree, send it over, and it just updates the ledger. It takes one out of Jeremy's account, puts it in my account. There's no bank needed, right? The computers do it all. But it was just money. So then what Ethereum essentially came up with is Ethereum said, well, why don't we add smart contracts to this? So instead of it just going over, maybe there's a contract that sits in the middle of that that says, if Jeremy sends this Bitcoin, it's for something. Once Adam performs these tasks that he's supposed to do, then we will release it. So it essentially created an escrow account in between that transaction. So that's what the whole smart contract thing did. And that kind of changed the blockchain world because, it added an additional layer of intelligence kind of to what was happening in those transactions. So then people were like, well, you could do that with legal contracts. This isn't released until Jeremy signs this DocuSign contract that somebody sent over, or Dotloop contract that somebody sent over. Then the funds are released, right? So it was really interesting. So the idea was to disrupt all these different industries, legal, even our industry. On the back end, when you pay that quarter, right? So that quarter comes in, you already paid for it. You already gave us $10 for that 40 credits. So there's already a value assigned to what a credit is. But then when you use that credit, now it's collecting data on top of the 25 cents that you spent. That data is arguably worth more than even the quarter that you spent. Because then what happens to that 25 cents? It has to break into pieces. So we get a nickel. Maybe there's a smart contract between the publisher and the person who wrote the article now. Maybe they have a pre-written contract that says, hey, we're going to get 20 cents. Content credits is going to get a nickel. But if there's a writer, the writer also gets a nickel. So the quarter comes into our system. We get our nickel. It hits the smart contract. They say, hey, the writer gets a nickel. And then the publisher gets 15 cents. So then at the end of the month, we reconcile with everybody. But if we had a centralized system, we could arguably cheat them. We could move credits. We could just say, these credits aren't real. But what happens with blockchain is it's an immutable ledger. We're out of it altogether. It's the computers running the transactions now, right? So what ends up happening is that the system, the quarter comes in, hits that smart contract, the computers validate everything, put all the tokens, the percentage of the tokens in everybody's wallet, and then at the end of the month, we reconcile. So they can trust that system because it's the computers running the transactions, not us. If that makes sense.
It does make sense. And so just to bring us into context for people that may be watching this from the different trades industries, here's where this gets really interesting. It could be used, and stay tuned, guys, because we're working in this space and we have some things this way that we're working with. But I just want to put this out there in the ether sphere. It could be used as a multi-level contract. So basically, if a utility was paying, let's just use a utility as an example. If a utility had a incentive program that they had, and it was based on performance of systems and homes, like verified performance, like they wanted the blower door performance verified, which is air infiltration. They wanted the duct leakage performance verified. They wanted the system, HVAC system performance verified. But these are all coming from maybe a couple different entities. Then there's a couple different people to pay, right? So there's the contractors first. The utility has to pay whoever's managing the program. This is how these things usually work. And then the program is usually paying whoever, once everything's verified, there's a big program management piece in the middle. Those guys are verifying that all the things have been done. Then they're sending out the payments. With blockchain, hypothetically, we could do away with the program managers and we could just say, hey, once this equipment verifies, boom, that unlocks one part of the ledger. Once this equipment verifies, boom, that unlocks another part of the ledger. And once this equipment verifies, boom, that unlocks another part of the ledger. then it would pay out whoever. It could also automatically pay each one of those guys as they're verified. Boom, boom, boom. They get paid whatever they're supposed to be paid. And then also, too, the homeowner's incentive would be enacted by the blockchain as well. Like, boom, it unlocked their incentive. They did everything they were supposed to do. It's all verified. So the homeowner gets their utility rebate or whatever it ends up being for having that stuff done. And at the same time, like you said, and this is one of the most important parts, an indelible record is created on the blockchain of that house's performance into perpetuity. It never goes away. It's always right there. You can see what was done to the house in real time and when. And as you know, it's geotagged, date stamped, all that stuff is done right there in the blockchain.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And we're doing that. There's a blockchain consortium that we started a while back. I had to go down to the State House of Kentucky and testify so the state could officially launch it. But I'm part of that. And it's just a working group to figure out how to use blockchain technology in different phases of the government. And one of that is critical infrastructure. Because at the end of the day, guys, it's a centralized system versus a decentralized system. In a centralized system, you really have one point of failure, just that one computer that's sitting somewhere versus a network of computers that validate these transactions. So if you think about it, critical infrastructure, the water grid, the water system, the electrical grid, all these things. I mean, if a bad actor wanted to hack a lot of these centralized systems, they could take down a lot of stuff in our country. So the idea is how can the state of Kentucky, in our case, decentralize some of these things and increase the security on these systems that we have. So there's a lot of that going on right now. A lot of discussion around how to use blockchain in that. There's a lot in the supply chain logistics world. So the funny thing is Walmart actually did a study on this where they sent a box of mangoes through their typical supply chain. And it took, they pretended something happened, right? And it took 2 days for the people in that supply chain, all the actors in that supply chain, to finally figure out what the problem was. And, something was sitting on a dock too long. Like it was sitting in a crate got moved. They didn't know where it was. And the mangoes went bad, right? Because it was in the heat. So, and then they sent it through a blockchain system. And it took 2 seconds to figure out what the problem was. Because I have to call every single player in that supply chain because I don't have access to their centralized computers. Only they do. And I don't know what happened. I don't know if the thing got scanned, by them. So as Walmart, I have to be like, hey, where's my box of mangoes? And I'm calling everybody in the supply chain, the trucking company, which good luck with calling the trucking all the warehouses, call everybody, figure out what's going on. Hey, can you check your computer system to see what happened? And chances are they're going to lie. So in a supply chain, nobody trusts anybody else fully, right? Yep. Because they're trying to save face. So in a blockchain network, you have those smart contracts, right? So if that box is scanned, it's tied to the IoT device, right? And so that scanner is tied to, it sends a signal onto the blockchain record. And once that signal is sent, it's immutable. You can't change it after that. Nobody can change it.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
Right?
That's what I need. Yep.
So it can't change. So if that thing doesn't get scanned in that warehouse, we know it didn't get scanned. And then when they finally do scan it, it was 2 days later. So every player in the blockchain has access to that record of what happened and where that thing is. And I can go there, I can look at it, 2 seconds, figure out exactly what happened. I don't have to call anybody. It's right there. Everybody shares it, right? And then everybody who's a player in that, everyone who's a player in that supply chain is held accountable.
Yeah, and that's, I think, the way. There's a lot of, and you may know this better than I do, but I know that there's a lot of blockchain use in logistics right now. I think that's one of the main uses of blockchain is in logistic companies like trucking companies, shipping companies, stuff like that. I think they are one of the most active users of blockchain out there right now, and it's the format that it is. Smart. And
it makes sense. I mean, in Cincinnati, the area I'm in, Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati area. Supply chain logistics is huge here. I mean, you think about it. We got River, right? We got
TQL out there in Milford. Or,
TQL, one of the biggest freight brokers in the country. R&L Carriers is not far. It's right up the street.
Yeah.
You've got the GE Aviation, which is now headquartered here since GE broke up. You got the largest consumer packaged goods company, P&G, here. You've got the largest grocery chain in the country, Kroger, based here. Cintas is all over the place with their floor mats and stuff and their soap and everything else for the toilet paper for bathrooms and offices and all that.
Yep.
They're huge. And it's just where you're at. You're on I-75, which is one of the busiest north to south corridors in the whole country. And then up in Columbus is 70, which goes east to west. And you got river travel. You've got one of the busiest logistics airports in the country with an Amazon hub, a DHL hub. We got all kinds of stuff going on here with supply chain logistics. So the idea when it comes to economic growth of this area and where the next job is going to come from, I say lean into that, right? Because California can't compete with us on that. I mean, we're a day's drive from a third of the U.S. population when we're here. I mean, you're a few hours from Chicago, an hour and a half from Louisville, an hour from Lexington, 4 hours to Pittsburgh, Columbus, Cleveland, St. Louis. I mean, it's all right here. Like, you can get to, DC in not that long. So, this idea that Cincinnati's in the middle of the country and that's somehow a bad thing is not a bad thing. I mean, Detroit.
Yeah, no, the Midwest. It's the Midwest, called the Midwest for a reason. I mean, it is where there's a lot of middle lane travel at up and down the state. Like you said, 75 and 71 are the most traveled interstates in the country, or one of them anyway.
Well, and the railroads. Sure. I mean, we lived right by the railroads growing up, you know? I mean, they got a huge railroad here.
B&O was right around the corner.
That Superman. True. Superman just had Union Terminal and Superman. Union Terminal was a big...
It's back. Yeah, well, it was in the original Super Friends, and now they brought it back in the new movie. It's pretty awesome. I love it.
Yeah, the Justice League and all that. They all hung out at Union Terminal.
I have a little, I collect those Funko Pops, which I have a
see that Tupac
around here, but yeah, Tupac. I got to. Yeah, I brought this probably won't always be our setup, but it just so happened we were doing some promo stuff, and so I brought in all my stuff to ADHD it out or whatever, and it just happened to have it as the background for this. So it worked out as a good backdrop for the podcast for today.
Oh yeah,
I want to talk to you really quickly. We got a few 10 minutes or so left here. Marketing. I know that you own a marketing company. Reversed out. You've done a lot of stuff for us. Adam's helped me immensely in the growing of my couple businesses, and so I always appreciate that. And I want to number one, plug his business, Reversed Out, but I do want you to give your opinion of what makes good marketing in a high trust, reasonably low tech industry like HVAC. Like, what as a marketer should people be doing to gain that trust?
Well, 6 months ago, I would have told you local search, right? Which is still a big deal. But I mean, AI is killing the search industry. It's summarizing a lot of things for you now, like I mentioned before. So not as many people are going to scroll down the search page as they used to be scrolling down the search page. So, I mean, you remember if you were on page 2, you might as well not even be on Google. I mean, you had to be at the top. So really, this has become a pay for play thing. The free searching, the organic searching stuff is kind of going away. And now, I mean, you gotta pay Google. You gotta pay for ads. You've got to pay Facebook for ads. You've got to, I think one of the best ways is do things like this, do podcasts, get in your community, sponsor those little league games. I mean, the stuff that's always worked for people in the HVAC and in the contracting world, right? All the blue collar guys. And the crazy thing is just recently, somebody sent me, I'm in this big Catholic network, right? Legatus. And they just sent me, there is a college opening up in Youngstown, Ohio, that's focused on the trades, a college that is run by, just a bunch of Catholic people that are in the trades, and they started this own thing. And so I sent it to Bernie Moreno yesterday, our federal senator for the state of Ohio. And he's going to look into it because we need to be plugging the trades. So if you see,
absolutely,
I mean, 100%, dude, how many more, social workers do we need coming out of college with 4-year social work degrees?
Exactly.
I mean, they just get absorbed by the government. And you see what's happening now. All these people are losing their jobs because the government's like, the Fed, Trump and all these other guys are like, why the heck do we need, these bloated nonprofits, and why the heck do we need USAID, and why do we need they just absorb these graduates from the college that are all pretty much doing the same thing. And I wish the colleges would start being honest with these students and saying, guys, we got enough social workers. There's 50 social workers graduating this year. Where are they going to go? They're going to go into city government. They're going to go into the schools. The reason the public school system sucks so bad is it's administrative heavy. You got too many teachers and too many levels of administration. Not really too many teachers, but you got people above them. Aren't even necessary, and not a lot of money goes to the kids. I mean, you went to CPS. I went to CPS. The kids, the money doesn't get to the kids.
It doesn't translate. Do you think this is one thing I was reading about all that AI, the summary AI thing you're talking about, and I think this is true because I've tested it on my own myself, but they were saying that thought leaders are really going to be the winners of that AI summary game because it's the more legitimate content that you have out there. AI is smart enough now to scrape for the legitimate content versus the fluff content. And so it's going to pick up the legitimate content, the thought leader content. And I actually did some Google playing around, just anecdotal stuff on my own with, that search function with my like terms that would be in our industry. And I came up a lot because I have a lot of written and recorded stuff out there. And some of the other people that we interact with in our industry also came up a lot. And it's like, this person said blah, 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 blah about this right at the top, and then their company is this. And so like, I think that being more honest about our marketing and just really trying to be a thought leader and trying to provide good solid educational value might be a good marketing technique. I mean, it always has been, but I think that it's a little, with the AI stuff, it may be a little bit better. It may beat out some of the fluff stuff, because before you had the guys who that's who we are, me, you, other people in my industry and your industry that are like, hey, we just want to talk about what's real and talk about, give you real information as a way of marketing ourselves, like give you real value as a way of marketing ourselves. A lot of times that got drowned out by the people who could just pump volume, pay for content and pay for, Google ads and all that. And I think that the paid ad stuff, like you were saying, is going to take a back burner to the people that can provide real value and leadership. Yeah,
it always has. Yeah. But think about this too. Some of the most successful people in the industry, and I do stuff with Senko Tool all the time, right? Senko's based here in Cincinnati. A lot of your people probably know who Senko Tool is.
Absolutely.
I do work for some dentists in New York and 2 different dentists in New York. They really hyper focus on their community, right? And, they sponsor things. They go to universities. These dentists, they go and they mentor some of the dental students and stuff is what they do, to get in the community. And then they talk about it on social media. I mean, a lot of your customers are on Facebook. They're on social media. The problem is if you put links and stuff on there, those are no follow links. So if they lead back to your website, you're not going to get any external Google links from that, because they're no follow. There are some ways to get do follow links. So if you were to do an interview about the heat wave that's going on in Cincinnati right now with Channel 9 or with WC, any of the local news things, and you are the expert in your area, and then they say, hey, Jeremy Begley from da-da-da-da-da.com is here, and that's a link over to your stuff, that's a do follow link. So you want to get as much of that earned media as you possibly can. If you need to hire a PR person, but I don't think it's necessary. I mean, talk about the kids, the Knothole team that you sponsor on your Facebook. Be part of the community. People want to work with the people in their community that are actually giving back to their community. And you put that kind of stuff on social media, right? Start a YouTube channel showing people how to do basic things. Hey, did you know you need to be changing your air filter in your furnace every month? If you're not doing that, let me show you how to do it. And Jeremy, you could come to my building and show me everything there is to show me about this place. I'm not going to do it myself. Most people are like that, right? Even with their home stuff. Oh, I'm afraid to do it. I mean, how many times you hear that? I'm afraid to do it. I don't want to get in there and mess up something.
Yep.
We do it with websites. I build a website for somebody. I give them the information, the WordPress information to log in. A group just hit me up today. There's 2 candidates that are running for elected office here in town. They're like, Adam, can you put links on here to their websites? I'm like, I gave you they won't do it. right?
I gave you the login. Why can't you do it?
I'll do it, right? They're older. They don't even want to deal with it, right? And I get it. And me, I'm busy. Like there's different reasons why people don't want to do this and why they want you to help them do this. So if you create a YouTube channel, that's one of the best ways. You start plugging in the terms for your local area, Knoxville, maybe a particular neighborhood in Knoxville. And you start saying, hey, if you're in Knoxville and we're about to have a heat wave, it's going to be 90 degrees all next week. Here are the things you need to do now to prepare for that. So your system doesn't overload and you're sitting there calling us and it takes 3 days to show up because there's no HVAC people, Go into the high schools, guys. Like these kids, not everybody's meant for college. Like you guys know it. You're in the industry. Like you don't want to go to college. A lot of people don't. I didn't even want to go to college, although I did. Yeah. I didn't want to do that.
Recruiting to the trades out of high school needs to get a lot more prevalent and a lot better. That's a topic that we definitely are going to dig into on this podcast is trades and high school and all that stuff. That is a big topic.
If you're in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, and you don't have a trade organization in your city, or you don't have a group in your city that's reaching out to high schoolers, and you're in HVAC, We'll go find a roofer, go find, guys in all the different trades and create your own group that goes out and speaks in the schools and talks to the kids before they graduate. Before they even start.
That is a great idea.
Go out and do it. The teachers are going to appreciate it, even though they think everybody should go to college. I think that's starting to go away. But you remember when we were kids, everybody had to go to college. Well, I think they're starting to wake up.
Like you said, college is dime a dozen now. We need people in the trades. We're running out of time, but I got 5 quick hit questions I'm going to ask you. Maybe not all 5 of them, but number 1, most overrated tech buzzword. This is the lightning round. So just disrupt. Whatever comes. Disrupt. There you go.
I'm disrupting this. I'm disrupting that. Are you though?
What's your best $100 you ever spent on your business? Any of your businesses? Best $100 ever spent?
$100?
Yep.
Oh man, that's a good question. You know what? Probably my speaker system I got in here. I like to sit when nobody's in the office, I'll just turn it up. But this Logitech system, I got this big subwoofer under my thing here. I think this was like $89 or something for this whole entire system. And dude, I've had this for probably 15 years and it still sounds awesome.
That's awesome. That's a great answer. If you build an HVAC startup, what would it look like?
I would probably start out with some grassroots, like getting out in the community, talking to people, probably partnering with other bigger firms is kind of like an auxiliary for them. Like, hey, I know you guys get busy. You're bogged down with calls. Tom Recton was just out here yesterday up on our roof looking at our system, and they were saying, dude, you guys, this system's dirty. This is one of the problems you got up here. And so they were here yesterday. It took them 3 days to get here, man. We had fans going. I got a box fan sitting back here like I did when we were kids, and we had to go to the free store to go get a box fan. But dude, they're busy,
that's
man.
That's how it is when you're in a heat wave. Yeah.
Exactly. So where are you at? If you're not advertising, go to the bigger firms that need your help and offer them your assistance. Say, look, I'm certified. I do this and that. If you need help, I'll go out. Just cut me in.
Yep. Sub me out. Okay. We're out of time. They're telling me I got to kick myself out of here. So,
okay.
Let's go ahead and end it with that. I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate everything you've done for me over the years. And I think that blockchain, content credits, all that stuff has a big future in all these industries for sure.
Yeah, for sure, man. All right, guys. Well, if you want to check us out, REVERSED, like you reversed a car. Reversedout.com is our ad agency. So if you want to hit us up, we can help you out with things, content, SEO, all that good stuff, keep you relevant, give you some ideas on what you could do. Happy to help. And content credits is just contentcredits.com. If you're in the Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky area, we've got a co-working space here, super affordable. Covworks.com, COVWORX.com.
One thing I do you still have the starter packages on the website? That's one thing I think these guys should know about.
Yeah, it's just $99 a month.
$99 a month. And then what was the price for the website to throw a website up?
Website's usually around $5,000. Yeah. Yeah, websites
Well,
usually.
didn't you have something? Weren't you running like a?
Oh,
I might be talking about something.
There's your basic. Like if you don't want like a super professionally done website, there's like themes and stuff that we could do, and those are $2,500.
There you go, $2,500, $99 a month, get you in the game, guys. If you want to go talk to Adam. All right, man. Yep. I appreciate it. I'll see you soon, man. Hey, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. If you'd like to learn more about the podcast or HVAC 2-Home Performance and any of our services, be sure to check us out on our website at HVAC2HomePerformance.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at HVAC2HP and find us on Spotify and Apple. While you're at it, leave us a review. The HVAC ADHD Vodcast is produced and edited by the team at Palm Tree Pod Co. Anthony Palmer is the executive producer. Bo Patton is our technical director. Nolan Gray is our audio engineer, and Caitlin Krings is the head of digital. The content for this episode is created by me. Hooday, go Bengals!